All right, those of you just joining, I'm going through a strategy of the last week leading up to the PMP exam. And just to backtrack, you need to make sure you get all your mocks in. I would say don't let it be any closer than 2 days. 2 days should be the limit. You should have at least 2 days to kind of get your head clear. Then, as far as the glossary, read every definition. Like, just lock yourself in a room for 2 hours. You should be able to knock it out in 2 hours. And then anyone that you are not familiar with or you are still clueless on, I want to hold you accountable. I want you to email me any definition that you feel, oh, I'm not really clear on this. Email it to me. I'm going to make you a video or find you some clarity or direct you to a video that already exists. All right. And then number 2 is read all the items on page 686 to 694. So if you follow me to page 686 really quick, you can see for every one of these tools and techniques, a number has been given in bold. That is the page where that item is discussed in greatest level of detail, or where it is tackled first or most legitimately. So if I were you, I would go to those bold places. If you go through the checklist and, for example, benchmarking, and I feel, you know what, I don't really know benchmarking very well, then you need to go to section 8.1. You need to look for where benchmarking was used in plan quality management, read it up there. And I want you to go through every single one of these tools and techniques in that way. You need to account for all of them because you never know which one could appear on the exam. So that's the second one. The third thing I would recommend that you do is read all the benefits statements. All the benefits statements in the PMBOK guide for all the 49 processes. So 4.1, 4.2, all of them, all the way to 13.4, they all have their key benefits. You know, the key benefits of this process are blah, blah, blah. You want to make sure you read all of these. So these actions I'm giving you are roughly 2 hours a piece. I would say read all the glossary definitions, 2 hours, read all the items in the book. I'll put that out about 4 hours. Read all the benefit statements. I'll put that at about 2 hours max. I would also say go over all the formulas on page 267 just to make sure you got them all down. Earned value is that one where we have all the formulas for earned value on page 267. Outside of that, I wouldn't really worry too much about any other formulas because on some courses, they introduce a lot of other formulas, the point of total assumption and all sorts of other formulas. I wouldn't worry about those. Last but not least, I would say review all the data flows. And there are 49 of the data flows in the PMBOK guide. For example, a data flow for control quality on page 299, look at that data flow and understand those unique outputs from every one of those and observe where they are going. Unique outputs. Okay. Unique outputs from each process, those are going to help you. Those are your must-dos. Now, I know you have notes and you're going to go through notes and other things, but if your exam is like 1 week out, these are things that you definitely want to make sure you do in addition to our mock exams. Definitely take down these mock exams one at a time because we just heard from Mario that the 2020 mock is right up there with the real exam. And guess what? Before the 2020 mock was put into effect, everyone said, oh, the challenge mock, that one is smack dab in line with the PMP. It's not too difficult. It's not too easy. It's right there. Now, I've heard from people that the marathon mock was overkill. So that's the one you did, Adnan. I've heard some people say the marathon mock was so hard. And that's why when people get a 60, I celebrate because it tells me that they're definitely in the zone and they can absolutely do it. So those are my 2 cents, Adnan, about what I think you should do. You know.
Well, telling me that I'm good with 62. That motivates me. I was
Well, here's a true story, and I'm not trying to tell everyone just get the barest minimum. No, there was a student who had a 52 or 55, I can't remember, out of the Department of Transport. And that student, seeing that, said, "Oh dear, well maybe I'm not ready for this thing." Went into the exam and got a great score, like 2 ATs or 3 ATs. So our mock exams, they are significantly difficult. But let me tell you what this guy did. He closed the gaps. You got to close the gaps. If you close the gaps, then you elevate yourself from a 60, from a 50, all the way to like an 80 and 90. But if you don't close the gaps, you're right where you are. And that's why I tell people, close the gaps, look at the question. When you take our mock exams, do not close the browser. Because if you close the browser, you're not going to be able to retrieve why you got the question right, why you got the question wrong. And it's important. So I tell people, don't shut down your computer. Leave it. Just maybe leave it, put it on sleep if you need to jump in the car, but definitely do not just shut it down, because you're going to miss that page where you can review everything over and over again. So that would be my recommendation. After each mock, okay, this question, it looks like I should have gotten this one right. Why did I get it wrong? Oh, I missed this one word. Those things, they really help you close gaps in a massive way. So that would be my recommendation. That's why I say give yourself 2 days at least. You don't want to be doing this all the way to the exam. But seeing that you aced that marathon mock, Adnan, I'm very confident now that you're going to do great.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I will go ahead and stop this recording.